Because we all think we have the best products, and we all think we've got the best staff, and we train our staff. But you got to really look in the mirror and say, is our store really worth $6 to come into?
Welcome to the Natural Products Marketer Podcast. I'm Tina.
And I'm Amanda, and we're here to make marketing easier for natural products businesses so you can reach more people and change more lives.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are with Chase Ballard. He is our special guest today. Extra special to me, he's my husband, so happy to have him here. So if you are not familiar with who Chase is, he's been in the natural products industry for going on 10, 12 years, something like that. It's been a while. So he definitely knows his stuff. And yeah, we're just going to pick his brain about different things related to kind of finding your secret sauce in the industry as a retailer and what that looks like.
One of the things that I always like to ask is, most people don't think about being in the natural products industry when they grow up. So when did you decide this was the industry for you, and what makes you so passionate about staying in it?
Yeah, no, I'm passionate about the industry because I was very unhealthy growing up, and then I saw a family member go through some health struggles, and it kind of woke me up to maybe I need to start taking control over my health and kind of can't just eat anything you want to see and not suffer any consequences. So really started diving into that through weight loss and stuff, started in the sports nutrition side of the industry, and then really just fell in love with learning how you can, heal your body with food and supplements, and then just investing in others and seeing them grow and getting to help people and getting to see people come to you for help and getting those relationships formed. It's addicting really, and it's a fun part of the industry.
Yeah, I think we can all align with that. We feel really strongly about helping people find their way to health through natural products and foods. So that sounds very just like the same of the rest of our stories as well. So, All right. So now why we're here.
Yeah, you've been with 3 different retailers now, all of them very different. So as you kind of led these organizations, how do you kind of determine what your secret to success is going to be with each company? Because everyone's different. And so for our listeners, no 2 businesses are the exact same. So how do you kind of figure out what's going to work well for you and what can be, what sets you apart from your competition?
Yeah, you really have to just start with running your business. I mean, that's the thing, is don't really look so much at what everybody else is doing. What do you want to do? What's important to you? What are you passionate about? What's going to excite you? And then in turn, what's going to excite your customers? But the biggest thing is you've got to look at what you're doing well. What are you really strong at? Not just doing well. What are you great at? What's your best thing you bring to the table as a business for your customers and your community? You can look into the hedgehog concept that's covered in like Good to Great and other business things, but it's kind of, what do you do better than anybody else? What's the one thing that you're the best in the world at? At least if you're not best in the world, you gotta be best in your community at least, or up there. What you want to do is you want to focus in on that and then build around that with other 3 to 4 core principles that you can be very good at as well. And that's when you do want to start looking at competition and say, okay, how can we do something better than the person down the street? How can we do this better than them? And if you can't do it better, it's not that you don't try, but you find other competitive advantages to lean into. And again, it goes back to, what are you passionate about and what do you want to serve your customers with? For example, one company I was at, we were very big on kind of staying up to date, cutting edge with science. We had a lot of people drive, some people would drive an hour to 3 hours to come talk to us and our practitioners and get advice from us, and but really came to us for the new products and whatnot. So having new cutting edge products, having a knowledgeable staff, those were some of our core features. Pricing wasn't that important. It was important, but it wasn't our top thing. Transitioning to another company, pricing was our top thing. And so we wanted to make sure we had the very best pricing, and we still had a knowledgeable staff, but that wasn't what we leaned everything into. So really, you got to find that one core thing that you can be the best in your community at, and then build around that with a strong foundation. You can't be everything to everybody. You have to kind of pick what you want to be and then lean into that really heavy. And if you can do that one thing great, and bulletproof yourself by being the best in your community at that one thing, it's hard for you to lose. But you got to stay sharp on your game in a lot of different areas as well.
Case, that just brings up for me, a lot of people don't realize that they do something special because it just comes so naturally to them. So how would you suggest figuring out what it is that is your thing that you do better than anyone else?
Yeah, and that's where, I opened up with that is what gets you excited when, as business owners, when you think back why you started the business, there had to be some entrepreneurial fire that just had you going, that really made you want to do this. I would hone back into that, find that root and build around that, because that's what got you excited. One thing that keeps me going in the industry, for example, is one of the first very big things. I remember being so upset when I found out that companies would do what's called fairy dusting, or they put a little bit of turmeric in something and say, oh, it's good for inflammation. So something that's always driven me is I am very big on making, not having formulas that aren't efficacious in my stores. So that's something that's very important to me. So you could say if I started my own business, maybe only having the top product quality, or no BS products or whatever, that would be something very passionate to me. But that's one of the things that really got me passionate about the industry. So really just finding what got you passionate. It could be different things for so many different people in this industry. Some people it could just be investing in their community. Some people it is more of the I love analyzing blood work and helping people have better health. Like, okay, then maybe you lean more into that clinician side. Maybe it's just you had dietary issues growing up and you wanted to have healthier diet options for people. Well, maybe you lean more into the food side and maybe have more dietetic services. So it's more of those things, what got you passionate and what got you excited, and lean into those things. Because I forget the exact quote and stuff, but there's something about the heart of the operator is the success of the business. And if you're the operator and you're not excited about what you're doing, it's not going to work. So
yeah, I love that, Chase. And one of the things that we talk about as well in helping you identify that, you absolutely have to be passionate about it. And what do your customers see that no one else sees in you? So a lot of times you can just look at Google reviews and see what's repetitive over and over again. The nicest people who know what they're talking about, or couldn't lose weight until I came here. If those are the things that are repeating over and over again in your reviews, or if you ask customers, what do you think makes us different than anyone else? I mean, just that one question can really help you see what makes you different than other people, because a lot of people think I do this, it comes naturally, everyone must be doing it. And it's just not true. So it's great to have that customer feedback as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, with the state of the internet, I think a lot of people, and this is something that you're super knowledgeable about, price got to be such a big issue, 5 to 7 years ago, with kind of the Amazon boom, especially in, the supplement side of things. And I think a lot of people struggled with that if price wasn't their thing, trying to figure out this balance between, well, maybe I'm more service based, but I still have supplements, but Amazon's undercutting me, all of that kind of stuff. So how do you balance, maybe if you are more service based or customer experience based, how do you kind of keep price in line? What are some things that you would, offer some advice to people on, where maybe price isn't their number one thing, but you still have to be price competitive?
Yeah, in this industry, I don't think you have to be the best price, but you have to be close. Yeah, you can't be. The days of selling at MSRP are long gone. If you're still doing that, I don't know how you're in business, but congrats on that, I guess. But the days of MSRP are long gone. Most MAP policies, and for what people, if people don't know what that is, it's minimum advertised price. But really, that definition doesn't do it justice. It's more so the price that Amazon is going to be selling at for the most part, or what your e-tailers are going to be selling at. E-tailers are starting to get smart and figuring out ways around that a little bit. But for the most part, if you're selling around MAP or at MAP, which I actually recommend selling below MAP on promotional items. But anyways, if you're not doing that, you need to definitely start considering, because you do need to be price competitive. I think you have to be price competitive, because ask yourself, if you go to any retailer and say you went and bought I don't know, let's say, or actually, I remember we were in the market for a baby stroller once, and we went and bought it at, I don't know, I think it was Target, and got home and Amazon was like $40 cheaper to buy the same stroller. It was like, wow, we kind of felt like we were ripped off. And it's like, man, should we, this stinks. Same thing's gonna happen to your customer if they get home and they just bought, a $40 item from you, and they get home, and with the way the internet works, it's going to know what they bought somehow. I don't ask, but that's going to pop up in their Amazon feed eventually, and it might be $15 cheaper. They're going to feel like you ripped them off. And maybe it was just that one item in your store potentially, but they're going to think that's the same thing with every item in your store. And that's not an image you want. The way I look at MAP, though, or the way I look at pricing and price competitiveness, if you're not super competitive on price, and you kind of have to look at it as an admission fee into your store. And what I mean by that is, so in the wellness industry, people typically buy, let's say, 2-3 items a pop. But let's just say 2 items for easy math. But say you're not at MAP, but you're close. You're $3 more expensive than MAP. That's not too bad per item. $2-3 is maybe 10% over MAP, 5-10%. So let's just do quick math. You're $3 over MAP on the 2 items they were going to buy. So that's $6 in total on their purchase, that you're more expensive than Amazon. So what you're basically saying is it's a $6 admission fee to your store. So that's the way I envision MAP is you have an employee standing outside taking a $6 ticket from people to get into your store. That's fine if your store is worth coming there for $6. If it's not, well, you're probably losing customers, or you're probably not having people want to come back to your store after finding that out. Some stores that are very service oriented and very, have great staff, they have great knowledge, they have great selection, they spend time with customers, they have phenomenal services. Sure, that might be worth it to most people. But if you don't offer any of those things, and that's where you got to be really honest with yourself, because we all think we have the best products, and we all think we've got the best staff, and we train our staff, but you got to really look in the mirror and say, is our store really worth $6 to come into? That's only if someone's getting 2 products, and that's if you're close to MAP. If you're not anywhere near MAP, you might be charging someone $20 in your store. Even for the best stores, that's a tough swing. You just have to start looking at it like that. What's going to excite your customers? That's the big thing. What excites your customers? It's the way everything is right now. Retail experiences they're not convenience anymore for most people. Amazon is the king of convenience. For me to go into a retail center, I'm choosing to do that because I want an experience. I want a interaction with someone, or I want to learn more, or I want to, there's something I'm wanting. There's that experience factor. And if you're not delivering on that experience, then I'm out. So you've really got to start leaning into that and making sure that you have an experience that is worth admission. And if you're selling at MAP, you don't have to worry about that, because it's like, hey, the prices that we have, they're saying you're going to get on Amazon. So we're here to help you, and for free, basically. But yeah, I think that admission thing, when I started kind of looking at it, that really kind of opened my eyes to seeing it's all about the experience, A, and then B, the price competitiveness. Is it worth the price of admission? So
Well, my question to that, Chase, is does that mean in order to sort of cover your overhead around having the store, having the employees that are helpful and all the training that you have to do, are there other services that maybe you want to bolt onto that where you do charge a premium and can that help you make up that overhead?
Yeah, it can, and that's where you have to kind of you really have to make sure that you're offering quality services and things like that. But no, there are definitely, I've seen people doing partnership things where they'll partner with community people and kind of serve or charge like I don't know what you would call it, but well, membership of, hey, you get a membership to us, you get a membership to the person down the street, kind of doing different things. You get one free cryo freeze, you get one, like kind of a sampling of different wellness services in the area. You can do things like that. You can block off time with some of your staff where they have dedicated consultant time. You can lean into a lot of different things. You could lean into more promo options to where they're having, hey, sign up for this and we'll give you exclusive coupons, exclusive deals. So you can kind of start retaining some of that. But honestly, for the most part, you can get by sell with the way most companies are. 7 years ago, that was that was a very pressing question. But now most companies understand MAP is almost a prerequisite to have a foot in this industry now. And I'm very thankful for that. That the work that not just me, but a lot of people have done in forcing companies to adopt MAP. Most vendors that you carry, you can sell at or around MAP. If you work hard and have a good purchaser, you will be able to make the money you need. The days of making, 50, 60, 70% margin, those are gone for the most part. And that's where we do have to be smarter business people and make some better decisions. But at the end of the day, you should be able to still make do with what you need if you run a smart business. It's easier said than done, but you should be able to make that a reality. That is where you do need to get clever with bolting on things. And I don't have all those answers. Obviously, that starts to go to, you don't want to just get quick with bolting on things. It's what aligns well with our core business. What's the thing that goes well with that hedgehog concept that we were talking about? What's that thing that we're best in the world at, we're best in our community at? What's something, a service or something we can further bolster with that? Because that hedgehog thing, that best in the community area, that's why people are coming to you. So you want to continue to bolster on things that feed into that. And so if you can find those things, of course, do it. And those things you can charge a premium for if you need to, because they're already coming to you for that. They're not going to get anywhere else. So you should not monopolize that, but you should take advantage of that fact about you. You've got to be careful to make sure you don't do all that too soon. If you're still buying the business, for example, if you're not already known in your community as the place to go for X, well, if you start saying, well, hey, we're going to charge you this and this and this and this to do things, people will start being like, is it worth it? What's your reputation? You've got to kind of, there's a saying that the person I really like is you buy the market. So sometimes you have to invest to buy the market. So before you start charging premiums and stuff, you've got to say, hey, we're going to come out here, we're going to offer the service. And until people really, really like it, you kind of get them hooked, I guess, and then start saying, hey, for us to continue doing this service, we've now got to start charging a fee. And, you start with a fee and then you see what people accept. And you come out with a fee. If people still pay for it, then you know that you've got something working. If people say no and vote with their dollars, then okay, maybe it's not as valuable as we think it is. So,
Yeah, that's great. And then I'm curious about, you talked about promo items that sometimes you do below MAP for that. How do you make those decisions? What are the levers that you're pulling there that keep that profitable for you?
it goes back into getting people excited. And that's something that's very core part of my passion, is to keep people excited or kind of exceed expectations. So we sell, for example, the company I'm with now, we sell everything at MAP price every day. There may be a few things where slightly over, maybe 5% or something like that, just because it's hard to stay up to date on all the products. But what we like to do is we like to run pretty significant promotions on top of that, to where people, when they come into our stores, they're usually checking their phone 3 or 4 times, not for a better price, but to almost figuring out, how was Amazon ripping me off? And that's a really fun. I get kind of a high off of seeing people's face every time that happens. So, but no, the way you want to do it is, you've got to work with your vendors. You have to make partnerships. You have to come to them with ideas. And so many times talking to vendors about these ideas that I have, they say, man, it's a breath of fresh air just hearing someone that has an idea. Typically, sadly, a lot of companies they take the line drive. Sometimes they don't even pass it on. And a line drive is where you just get a further discount than you typically do for a month or so. And a lot of people don't even pass it on, or they don't pass it on significantly enough. They don't do anything fun with it. They get promotional dollars from companies, but they're not creative. And you have to think outside the box. And again, it goes back to what's exciting your customers. I mean, that's where we want to say what's exciting people. So just selling a map, that just means you're the same price as Amazon. Well, everybody shops on Amazon for the most part. I mean, that's not really saying much. I don't think that's a huge, or at least I don't feel super proud saying, hey, we're the same price you could get at home. Oh, okay. Yay. Good for you. So that's where having a promotion on top of map saying, hey, go ahead and look at the phone. Like, I don't care. Like, you're going to see that we're, significantly cheaper. And they do. That's where their face is like, it's funny. No, never do we get a question in our store of, hey, this is cheaper on Amazon. But at least once a day, a customer comes up to us, hey, do you guys know you guys are a lot cheaper than Amazon? Like, kind of worried about our business. Like, you guys know y'all don't, this is kind of crazy. We're like, yeah, no, that's what we do here. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. I'm just going to keep shopping with you guys now. So again, does everybody need to do that? No. But our core principle for our company right now is pricing. But we're also a new wellness retailer. So we're buying the market. So price is our biggest thing. 10, 15, 20 years from now, when people only come to us in the area for products, will we have to be as aggressive on promotional? Probably not, but we'll probably have the ability to do it and be fine because we bought the market. So again, it depends on the business strategy you're in. If you have people coming an hour to see you, to talk to you for 30 minutes, do you have to run these crazy promos? Probably not. You're probably doing fine just as you are. But that's what you just got to ask yourself. If you're not having people excited, get them excited, and you got to figure out how that works and just try different things.
So Chase, in your experience, have you found that, if you're wanting to get creative with some of these promotions, that brands are willing to work with you on that and, let you kind of, especially if this is a first time thing for you, where you're like, hey, I want to do this crazy BOGO free deal. We've never done anything like that. Are brands typically willing to work with you on things like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard for me to take my experience with brands and transpose that to what other people would experience, because I have built that partnership with these brands over time. So whenever I come to a brand, if I haven't ever done it with a brand, they are much more hesitant. But most brands are willing to take a shot on you at least once. So I've seen, rarely do I ever get told no. But some brands are more hesitant, but they're willing to give you a chance. And sometimes again, it goes back to, if you feel really passionate, don't let someone tell you no. I mean, that's where I get frustrated at times with some of the entrepreneurial spirit of some business people, because they're, well, this brand doesn't do this for me, and this brand doesn't do this for me. It's like, you run your business. Like, if the brand's not working for you, then find another brand. I mean, that's a key part that every wellness vendor needs to, or wellness retailer needs to realize, is going back to kind of the Amazon thing, is people do not come to your store for a product. And if they do, close your business, turn in the key to make as much money as you can right now, because the reason people come to your store is for you. And hopefully you haven't forgotten that. So make sure that you're finding products and brands that work for you and what you want to do for your business. So if a brand keeps telling you no and you keep complaining about this brand that isn't doing something for you right, then get them out of your store and just tell your company or tell your customers it just didn't, we didn't see eye to eye business wise. If you're still in the early stage or if you're struggling right now, I know that's not easy, and I'm not saying you can do that right away, but you need to be aiming to get to that process. For example, back in the map days, I call them the map days, but back when map was a very big concerning thing, Natural Vitality, Calm, still don't have a great map, I don't think, but I think it's kind of a lot better. But that in the early days, you could literally buy their stuff on Amazon cheaper than you could buy it through distribution. And we sent them letters. We tried, contacting them. We need support here. We're not going to be able to keep carrying your products. Nothing changed. We were just one little retailer, no big deal. They didn't care. So we got their products and we brought in a similar magnesium citrate and said, hey, our customers would come in asking for Calm. We said, hey, listen, we just didn't see eye to eye business wise. Great product. We've got this other product we think is just as good. We trust it and we think you should give it a shot. We'd had a good price on it. And then people bought it and said, okay, cool. If you recommend it, we want it. And that was where, that's where I really started to realize people aren't coming for the product. They're coming for us. And that again goes back to people. If people are choosing to walk in your store, they're coming for you. They may not want to talk to you every day, but they're coming because they value the service you offer. There's so many companies out there that make good quality products. Find the ones that partner with you. Now, yes, there are some brands that are very important to have for the most part, but there's very few that are absolutely vital. There's a lot of competition out there, and competition's healthy. And that if you say, hey, well, if you don't do it, we're going to cut you and we're bringing in a brand that will do it, they'll usually listen. So
I'm curious, when you're talking about this, working with brands and asking them to help you have a promotion, you had talked about building relationships with them, and that's how you're able to get them to negotiate a little bit with you, and then maybe introducing this idea to a new brand. But other than building the relationship, what do you think, if they say yes at least once, which you mentioned they might, what do you need to show them in order for them to continue saying yes?
Show them that you're trustworthy. That's the biggest thing, I think. Show them that you mean what you say, and you're going to do what you say. I think that's the biggest thing. So when you say you're going to put it on end cap, put it on end cap. Send them a picture. Show them statistics behind what happened on the end cap. Even if it didn't work out, say, hey, it didn't work. I thought it was really going to work. It didn't work. That's okay. I think just being honest with people and being honest with, I've apologized to a lot of brands, and they said, hey, it's okay. We actually, worked better than we thought it would. So we'll try it again. But just be honest. I don't know. It's kind of just my general status quo of how I like to do business. But I think I've seen a lot of people see that as refreshing. And I don't know how other buyers operate, but I get the feeling that sometimes some brands feel like they're not taken advantage of, but the message I get is they feel hesitant to pull trigger on ideas because things aren't always honored fully through, and things are, well, hey, yeah, people look at co-op funds, for example. So co-ops where the brand will partner with you on advertising, and hey, yeah, we have 10 stores. It's going to cost, $2,000, $2,500 to get an end cap in, at our companies. That's X and Y, Z amount of foot traffic, blah, 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 blah. Make it sound really nice and charge, a pretty penny. And then they put it on end cap and they don't even really place a PO. They just put what's overstocked from the back room, and the end caps look like trash. And if I was a company, I spent money for that, and I walk into the store and I'm like, this is what we got. I wouldn't want to spend money with retailers either. So I think it's just saying, hey, listen, partner with me, trust me, I'm going to need to buy X amount of units. And that's the thing. Tell them what you're going to do. Don't just say, hey, I need 10% off because I want to do a sale. It's like, I need 10% off, or I need it at this price. I'm going to need to probably buy, 400 units. Here's what I want to do. I want to do BOGO free. Just take a chance on this. We want to do whatever you want to do. Brands are willing to partner with you guys if they, they're just willing to, because the brands realize that without brick and mortar retailers, the industry's in trouble. So I mean, they're just as worried about business as brick and mortar owners are. They're worried about this channel surviving. And I used to be very pessimistic about this channel, but I've been feeling more and more confident as time goes on. But we've gotten a lot of life rafts, and I think the life rafts have been very helpful because people have started waking up. But we had the life raft of the CBD craze that really helped a lot of businesses out. And then COVID was the second life raft that really pushed people into our stores. That was 4 years kind of through the map Amazon kind of time where you could start, if you were smart about business and started getting your ducks in a row, you had about 4 years of a buffer zone of saying, we've got to get things back in order. Like, we've got to start figuring out who we are, what's our future, what's our business plan. We can't just turn the open sign on and expect people to come in anymore. So people had 4 years of that. And before that, you can even say Garcinia Cambogia. So maybe 6 years of that, but still in the Dr. Oz years. But you've had time to kind of get your ducks in a row, and hopefully people have. And I've seen a lot of people doing that. So that excites me.
If we put a formula together for communicating with some of these brands and manufacturers, then it sounds like it would probably be like, put a plan together, tell them what you want and what you're going to do, then show your work, just like math in school. When you actually put the promo together, show them what it looks like, show them the advertisements or whatever you're doing around that. And then the third piece is to show your results, good or bad, because, and along those lines, if I were a betting person, these people want to run marketing tests all the time. And they're not able to do that necessarily without cooperation from retailers. So you are a test. And even if it doesn't go as well as you thought or that they thought, it gives them data to tell them what works and what doesn't. And so then you come up with a new creative plan that they might be able to test again, and they get more data. So it sounds like that's sort of a 3-step formula. Start with a plan, show your work, and then show the results.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. That's the beauty of it is, say you have no idea. Say you're just not coming up with promotional ideas isn't your forte. Okay, that's fine. Sign up for all the flyers in your area. Sign up for other flyers of people that aren't in your area. And ask reps. Anytime a rep comes to you, say, what are other people doing that's successful? Like, be honest, be humble, and say, listen, we're trying to really increase sales. We're really wanting to see, sales turn around. We're wanting to have fun. We're wanting to excite customers. What are you seeing other brands do or other companies do? How do they do that? And most of the time, they're going to tell you what exactly, because they want to increase sales too. There may be things, again, everything needs to go through your filter. Does it align with our business? So don't just do any and everything a rep recommends. Again, you're running your business, not them. You need to run your business and make sure it aligns to you and what you're doing. But get those ideas from them. They're more than willing to give you ideas. I'd say, probably only 30%, 20% are great ideas that I've heard or that align with what I want to do, but they're out there. And so, yeah, they're there.
And then what do you do to sort of make it more possible for things to be a success when you put this plan together? And then what marketing tactics are you doing to draw people to that promo?
It's easy for the stores I'm at now because we're a store within a store for the most part. And so we already have a lot of foot traffic. The hardest thing to do is get people in the store. And that, I don't have all the answers for that question, but a marketing campaign of some sort is definitely vital. If that's either, getting a sign in your parking lot outside or near the interstate saying huge sale, limited time BOGO free on X items or something. I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if it's an email campaign. For me, what it is, it's buying a ton of product and stacking it high. And so invest in the product to kind of build it and they will come type mentality. But, we have huge end caps. Like if you're going to have a sale, make it a big deal, make it overflowing. So it looks like you're invested in this product as well. You know it's going to be good because you've bought into it. Don't just do a sell and put a tag on the shelf. My goodness, that's not going to work. So you have to make it a big deal as best you can. So if you only have one end cap in your store, get a sign for outside your door and say, "Hey, huge sale right now on X item." You've just got to make noise. I mean, just start making noise. So I don't know how exactly you make noise, but make noise. And the only advice I can give you is make noise however you can.
Yeah. Well, and I think it'll depend on each store, right? Each store has their own unique identity and the ways in which they do things. Some, might have a great social media presence, and that's, a great way for them to promote things. Other people might have, 300 followers on Facebook. That's probably not going to do much for you. So come up with other ways to promote those things. Email's fantastic, anything in store to make the products kind of stand out amongst, because most health food stores are having thousands of tiny bottles on the shelves. So it's like, if you have only one item in this whole row that's on sale, make it pop out.
Yeah, I love that advice. Like make it big, make a lot of noise, because if it looks exactly like everything else that's in the store when you walk in, or your email campaigns are just the same, or it's just another ad to come into the store, then that's probably not going to get you anywhere with your promo.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the other thing on top of that too, I would say is ask your staff. I mean, lean on your staff, but bring them into the process. Hey guys, this is a huge sale. How can we excite people in the community about this? And they probably have ideas you haven't thought of. And what you also do twofold with that is you excite them about the promotion and you kind of have them take ownership too. And that's going to also help increase that turnaround as well.
Okay, so to keep up with and be ready for what's next in this industry, what are you reading? Who do you listen to? What are you watching? And who are you following?
For keeping up with what's next in the industry, honestly, not much. I'm not very good at. I do keep up with. I try and see any new product that comes out. I'm not very impressed with what is coming out. So for me, honestly, I just kind of keep an eye out there. I feel like I have a pretty good tune. I get with my staff and ask them, "Hey guys, what are y'all hearing asked for? What are things that y'all are seeing?" I have a very good communication with the people, boots on the ground, where they're telling me, "Here's what people are wanting." But no, really, it's just kind of looking at what's coming in, and if it's crap, I tell the people it's crap, and a lot of stuff right now is crap.
So when you say you're keeping up with new products, is there a place you're going for that, or are you just getting things from the brand because they know that you guys do wellness?
Yeah, no, getting stuff from the brand. I mean, expos and conventions are great for that. But most of the time, email. I mean, every day I'm getting emails of, probably 20 items a day of here's something new, stuff like that. And there's a convention almost every quarter, and going to one of those usually does enough for me.
Okay. So what do you think most people in the natural products industry wish they could change about marketing?
What I wish we could do was have a more interactive marketing experience. Something I've always envied of some of the e-tailer companies is more of that customizable care approach, to where if someone knew, if I could send out something, or if my marketing could have a fish hook that was more, "Hey, we can help you on a customized level, and we have the knowledge to do those things," and almost have an interactive, like, what are the things that are ailing you? What are the concerns you have? And doing that in a good way that looks good. It works on the back end. There's not a lot of employee time or cost that goes into it, but some sort of AI, if you will. That's the hot term right now. But if there was some kind of chat GPT that we could get to do our wellness planned algorithm, that would be something I would really be excited about. But I think that's something that I feel is missing in wellness marketing, especially on the independent level, because there are some sites out there that are very trendy that do just that. They usually don't offer good quality, and they're usually not affordable. So I don't think they're good services, but they have a very good platform to offer that customizable care. Because I think that's something that everybody really wants, is they want to know, A, I'm being taken care of, and A, I'm not just another number. And so that
Well,
they have a customizable experience.
and kind of that, with your health, it can be intimidating for people to go into a health food store and be, like, hey, I have, all these symptoms and I don't know what the heck is going on in my body. And that could be a
Yeah.
really uncomfortable conversation. So I think that is why a lot of those e-commerce brands are doing really well, where it's like, okay, I'll just take this quiz in the comfort of my own home, and, someone will be seeing this. I don't know who, or if it's just, coded in where it, you
Yeah.
answer X, Y, and Z question a certain way, and it's like, oop, here you go, here's your suggestions. I think that eliminates a lot of the awkwardness, which I think
Right.
people
Yeah.
are having a much more harder time with, just being vulnerable in person, and that's just a whole nother conversation. But I think that would be nice to be able to then take that into a store.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I've maybe answered some of those awkward, uncomfortable questions ahead of time. And then it spit out this plan for me. Can you provide me more assistance along the way?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that way you've already kind of broken broken the ice online and out and not in person, so it's not as awkward. Yeah, but that's what I think is missing in independent wellness marketing.
That's really cool. I just think about things like people want to take personality tests all the time, and then it tells them like things they could work on. And that would be really cool if you could have that for health and wellness too. So,
Well, I'm sure you two together, y'all can figure something out. So I'll wait.
well,
and
now you
see
have
if
my
that-
wheels turning.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So, what's the single biggest decision you feel like has led to your success in the wellness natural products industry?
Yeah, I think it was coming to the realization that customers don't shop wellness for the products; they shop it for the people. They shop it for the relationships. They shop it for the people who are the listening ears that want to help them. The knowledge that they do have, even though we're not perfect, but they come for the people. And when you can realize that, and when you can hone your business into that, and it's very freeing, and you have the ability to tell a brand, sorry, it's not going to work out anymore for us, and you don't feel like you're just a vending machine for these brands. You're here to serve your customers. They're your customers. They're not the brand's customers. They are the brand's customers, but through you. And I think really believing that and seeing it take fruit so quickly confirmed in me it gave me a lot of confidence to stand out on some risky ledges. To be fair, the companies that I've been with have already had previous success and built those clientels to do that. So again, if you're not the place in your community where people come to you for that experience, you have other issues to figure out before you can just start telling brands no all the time, because to an extent you do need those brands to help partner and build you. But once you've got that customer trust, then you can start stepping out and doing things your own way a little bit more. I don't want to confuse that too much, but yeah.
So, just that reiteration of find what makes you different, lean into it, make sure you've got the audience, and then you can build your success around that. So what do you think the biggest challenge is for this industry walking into the next 3 to 5 years? I know that you were talking about you've had maybe 4 to 6 years of a little bit of buffer. So
Yeah.
what's the biggest challenge that's coming our way?
Biggest challenge is to make sure you have a good experience in store. Make sure the experience is on par with the retailers that are out there doing a good job. But basically, you have to have a good online experience as well. So it's not just an in-store experience, but a good online experience, a good social media team, a good people out there finding new products, and helping you make sure you are staying up to date. A good staff making sure they are providing top quality knowledge and care. But it's just providing that good, just a clean store, a clean, organized store. Not walking in, the shelves look terrible. Like, things go a long way for people, but making sure that experience for people is something that people want to repeat. And honestly, a lot of independent wellness or independence that I walk into in this channel, there's the store's dingy, the lighting's not good, the shelves look terrible, the staff, are they friendly? Are they not? Are they eating a sandwich while they're walking around and dropping lettuce everywhere? Like, a lot of these things aren't hard, but I'm seeing as a whole, staffing has become a big challenge because staff is getting harder and harder to find good people. Um, I look around though, even at restaurant establishments, I've noticed the quality of experience has gone down drastically even over the past few years with all the staffing challenges. And that's more of those little things add up for people where it's like, wow, like, I don't know if I want to come back here. And really, it's just making sure you have a good experience. And I don't think we lean heavy enough into that, within as independents, in this channel, because I don't know why, but it just,
Yeah.
making
You
sure
gotta give people a reason to get off the couch.
yeah, you have to, and that's what concerns me. It's just, are you giving yeah, kind of the same thing we talked about with MAP and everything, is, are you giving the people a reason to come into your store? And that's what does concern me with the advent of Amazon. And as we talked about, some of these online people are trying to figure out this customized level of care. And you're already kind of seeing it. Like, there may be a company come around, that will do, hey, we'll do is fill out this supplement, webinar or supplement quiz, and we will match you with a consultant that will meet with you for 15 minutes and provide you your exact nutrient. Like, maybe that's a business idea we need to do. But maybe that could be what hurts the industry drastically. Someone will come up with something, and that's where we have to make sure we're still enticing people for that in-person relationship and experience. And I don't have all the answers on it, but that's what concerns me, is that as technology increases, will we be able to keep the experience on par with, um, making people want to come and experience what we have to offer?
So I'm really excited. Mike McAllowitz is coming out with a new book about hiring and employee engagement. And so, exactly what you were talking about, finding good people, he has a whole section in that book that's going to be dedicated to putting on workshops for things and then watching who is
Yeah.
engaged in the information that you're teaching, because they might be the exact people who would be willing to teach other people. So, especially when it comes to health and wellness, I think about that all the time. Stores are constantly putting on trainings or having webinars about specific supplements or health issues, and that could be a great way to find your next employee. So that could be really exciting. Okay, so low hanging fruit. What things do you think would give most people in the natural products industry quick wins in building their business today?
Basically, it would be start selling at more competitive pricing. Have to do that. Clean your store, have good lighting, have your shelves look presentable, stock your store. There's so many, I'm seeing a lot of people that are just afraid to order and buy 2-3 month supply. We don't want to do that, but if that means you're not getting your shelves filled because you can't meet minimums for other items, then just get stuff on your shelf. Don't just have 1 or 2 items on your shelf. Make it look like you're in business. Those are easy, quick wins. Invest in your staff. Ask your staff what they want, or what ideas they have to succeed and push the business further. Show that you are listening to them. Those are quick, easy things you could do. Yeah, be price competitive. Engage with your staff. Clean your store. Be easy stuff.
Well, it's funny. Speaking of fruit, I went into a grocery store a couple weeks ago, and there was an apple display, and they had them all in. It looked like an egg carton where each apple was in its own individual spot. It had been picked through, and I felt so bad about taking even just one apple off the shelf because I was like, well, what if someone really, really needed apples? And so like when you said, put product on the shelf, it's like, if there's more product, then you don't feel bad about taking, maybe the last one, because, it's just these subconscious things where as a shopper, you're like, oh, like they don't really have much. Like, should I take this? Like, do they have more in the bag?
We have a policy where we basically it's no one ever buys the last one or two. And so that's kind of our policy is like, my store or my department's within a grocery store or, a grocery store type business. And it can be 6 o'clock at night. And if there's only 2 things of bread left, they're not saying, oh, well, it's the end of the day. They're saying, bake more, get more, because no one's going to buy those 2. Like, who cares if we give away 6 loaves at the end of the day? Bake another 10 or 12 and we'll sell probably 8. Instead, you just let 2 sit there. No one's going to buy them. So it's like, get product going. Like, you can't have just stuff sitting. You can't have empty stuff on your shelf. So get product, invest in your business, and product is an important way to do it. So it's vital that you have stuff to sell. So
yeah, and you were talking about cleaning too, and I just can't think of a worse idea than for someone to walk into a health and wellness store and for things to look dingy and dirty. It just they totally clash, those 2 ideas. If I'm thinking about my health and wellness, I'm also probably thinking about my clean body and the cleanliness of what I'm putting in there. So I can't think of a worse clash. If you haven't cleaned your store, please do that.
Yes, those are some quick, easy wins, and some easier than others.
Okay, so any shout outs for vendors that you love working with in this industry?
I think Ancient Nutrition has really been the easiest and most exciting to work with. Some other vendors that are fun to work with would be Life Seasons. They're really fun. I love Life Seasons. They're good to work with. They're a favorite as well, and they're underrated. If people aren't carrying Life Seasons, you need to be. Let's see. Garden of Life gets a bad rap, but yeah, fun to work with. I don't know, but they're always willing to listen and work with me. So I have to shout them out. They get a worse rap than they should. Let's see, who else? Working with distributors is the worst. Don't do that.
So thanks for being on the show, Chase. Now you joined me in the same room.
Yeah,
so
Peter died.
So yeah, thank you so much. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way that they can do that? Or do you want people to talk to you?
I don't want to talk to people. No, my email address is fine.
Yeah.
But no, I'm more than I love talking with people. I love talking with people that want to grow their business and want to figure out ways that they can change and grow. And I don't know everything, and I'm not always right. So, but I'm more than happy to talk to people as long as you're not on the west coast of Florida. I'll talk to you all day long.
So experience sharing is welcome, is what Chase is saying. And we will have his contact information in the show notes. All right. Thanks so much. We have loved having you here. I think it's been a lot of great information. And if we've learned anything today, it's definitely been, please clean your store.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks so much for listening to the Natural Products Marketer podcast. We hope you found this episode to be super helpful. Make sure you check out the show notes for any of those valuable resources that we mentioned on today's episode.
And before you go, we would love for you to give us a review, follow, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening today. And make sure you join us for our next episode where we give you more marketing tips so that you can reach more people and change more lives.